Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another week. This is week number 14, right here, April 8th, lecture number 13. So, as you can see, our time grows short, right? We have this week, then 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks, right? So, our time grows short. This week, at the end of the week, I would like to see your MRAD rough draft. Some of you have emailed me and turned that in already. Kudos to you. I'm glad that you were able to do that. Others of you, try to turn in something this week. It doesn't have to be a complete draft, but the more that you turn in to me, the more I'm going to be able to give back to you with regard to feedback. So please make sure that you're getting me as complete a product as possible so that I can get back to you with feedback on that product. Yeah? So, I've got a very short video for you today, namely because there's not a whole lot for us to do together until, the MRAD is complete. But I do want to show you a resource that you have. So this is the Purdue Online Writing Lab, right? Also known as the Purdue OWL. So to get here, you just do owl.purdue.edu, and that will get you here. And this is a guide for formatting your papers. So they have the MLA guide here, APA, and Chicago, right? So whatever your field uses most often, that's what I would like to see your paper in. Yeah. So the humanities generally uses MLA. The social sciences generally use APA. Chicago is something special. Generally, it's either a journalism, communications, or history paper that uses these. As for the natural sciences, often you'll find them using APA, but sometimes you'll see them using MLA. It just depends on what they're asked for. So your CFPs that you've gotten will help you figure out which style they want you to cite in, and you can use that. So let's look at MLA first. So this gives you the introduction, like what MLA is used for, overview and workshop, provides you different resources to help you format, and the formatting and style guide, this gives you all the rules. Yeah? So let's look at the formatting and style guide. Right? So now I can look at, okay, I need to do my works cited page. What's the basic format for that? All right. And they have basic rules. You also have a citation generator right here. That's powered by Citation Machine, so there might be ads in that, but there might not be. Who knows? So the basic rules, additional new basic rules for 2016. Something that happens quite often is they update the MLA guide. That's why it's nice to have a website instead of one of the guidebooks. So this should get you through, right, for a lot of the things that you'll need to do. They also have an MLA sample paper right here. You can look at each of the individual things that happen on a paper. Yeah, so heading just like this in the upper left, centered title, indented first paragraph, right? Page numbers running, so your last name and the page number, right? Got subheadings. Tell you when to italicize things, how to quote things, sic meaning thus, right? You use that when somebody has made an error and you're identifying the error and saying that you did not introduce the error. Last name and page number for citations in MLA. So this shows you exactly how to do that paper as far as the formatting goes. Here's the works cited. So you have author, title in italics, yeah. And it looks like the place where it was published and the year it was published in. All right, so that's the MLA guide. They also have guides again for the APA and Chicago. I'm interested to hear if you have any other questions about the MRAD paper. I know that it has been intimidating for a lot of you, but I also know that, you know, all you can do is try, yeah? And as long as you're putting forth a good faith effort, I recognize that. And I'm not going to penalize you for putting forth your good faith effort, especially on a rough draft, yeah? So hand in what you can for the rough draft, even if it's not quite complete. And you'll get a feel for what things will look like when I grade. I will assign you a grade for if you handed this in as your final paper, this is the grade it would receive, right? And that should give you a feel for how to prioritize the work that goes on to your final draft. Yeah. Even after the final draft, if there are revisions you would still like to make, you may do so by writing those revisions in your portfolio. Along with any revisions you want to make to any of the papers that we've done, you can always revise those for the portfolio. And as long as you record those in your cover letter and say the cover letter for the portfolio, and say that you would like to have them considered for a revised grade, I can revise that grade. So nothing that you've done so far in the class is yet finalized as far as grading goes. You may change any grade that you've gotten. You may hand anything in that you haven't handed in. We've just been working and building because writing is a process. It's not something that you do once and then you're done, right? It's something that you do constantly. You read, you write, you revise, have somebody else read it, you consider their comments, revise, write some more, hand it back in. This is the iterative process of writing, yeah? And even as a professional, when I send things in, I expect that I'm going to have revisions I need to make, yeah? That's part of why you send things out for peer review and you don't just publish them yourself, yeah? Your peers will often have revisions they would like you to make to your paper, And once you receive their feedback, you can choose to make those revisions, or we don't have to. And if you choose not to, generally they're not going to publish it, right? Uh, but it is your work, and so you revise just like that. So if I give you some feedback and I say if you made these changes, you would have an A, but as your paper sits right now, it's a B. If I say that and you end up feeling as though uh, a B is fine with you, then a B is fine with you, and you don't have to revise anymore. So it's all just a question of what you want to do and what the effort you want to put in is. I know it's a sort of a busy time of the year, and many of you are trying to get ready to head out for the summer and do those summer jobs. So I understand if my class specifically doesn't take top priority. Um, so please stay in contact with me via email. Make sure that you're getting the rest of those assignments in, and then pay attention to your email for feedback from me so that you can make timely edits and get that turned back in for the most credit you can possibly receive. All right? So, um, yeah, uh, I do have some prompts for you today, and then that will be it. Um, for the prompts, I see that um, the great flood that was promised us has not arrived. I would like to hear about your earliest memory of flooding, if you remember flooding at all. And tell me about what you remember as far as flooding. For some of you, that might be the 2009 flood. Uh, Others of you may have one earlier than that. For myself, I remember in 1992 out in western Washington, there was a flood in which the dikes broke that were holding back the river. Um, and they flooded the whole city. So I still remember not only water being pretty much covering the whole city and the highway, but then also the subsequent flood sales that happened at the stores because they had a bunch of merchandise that had been um, washed in the flood. Uh, so uh, that's one of the prompts that I would like to hear from you is your earliest memory of flooding and how that makes you feel about flooding in general, and sort of whether flooding scares you now. Um, the other thing that I would like to hear is any final questions you have about the MRAD. If you have no questions about the MRAD, you can write how confident you are about it and how you feel about writing that topic, writing on that topic. So just tell me something about the MRAD um, and the general process of writing it. I want to hear um, sort of your process that you took, whether you used sort of Peter Elbow approach where you did some free writing, or whether you didn't use that at all and instead wrote it all in one sitting. Whatever you did, I want to hear about your process, how you felt about it, these kinds of things. Y'all did a great job telling me how you felt about the book, uh, even though nobody had a whole lot of praise for Kagan. It was evident that some of you supported its use in the curriculum because you knew that you were getting something from it. So, uh, two writing prompts then. Earliest memory of floods, how you feel about them, all that jazz. And your process and feelings about writing the MRAD paper. All right? So that's all I have for you this week. By the end of the week, I want to see your rough draft of your MRAD paper. Remember, if you get that into me, you'll be able to get some feedback a little earlier than if you don't get me a rough draft. So bear that in mind and spend whatever you feel is the appropriate time on that. All right. Have a good week, and I'll see you on the other side.